a Marine. But I was the same person that I was when I got there. I was the exact same person I was when I got there. We had to do what was called an initial strength test. And this means it's a series of sit-ups, pull-ups. You had to run a mile and a half in less than 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, I knocked out the pull-ups, I knocked out the sit-ups, but I knew that run was gonna give me some problems. As a quitter in life, I knew that run was gonna give me some problems. And guess what? It did. I couldn't even finish a half a mile without coming to a complete stop and giving up. Completely gave up on that same day. Well, I went back to my barracks that night and I laid in my bed there and I thought about what would happen if I didn't make it. I would have to go back. Go back. But go back to what? I didn't have anything to come back to. There was no place for me to stay. There was no good jobs for me to come back and get. There was no productivity back for me on the block. So I made up my mind that night that I was going to do whatever it took for me to earn. And notice I said earn. For me to earn the title United States Marine. The things I had to do to become a Marine, I had to take all of the quitting out. I had to take all the bad things I did in life out. It was just me and the Most High. You know, a lot of times I had to get in trouble, but I got in trouble on purpose. And I'm gonna tell you what happens when you get in trouble on Marine Corps boot camp. The drill instructor takes you off to a little corner, and he makes you do mountain climbers, leg lifts, push-ups, sit-ups. But in my mind, I knew I needed that to get through Marine Corps boot camp. There were some days that I would fall back on the run, but knowing what I had to do, the desire kicked in, and I made myself push, and I made myself push, and I made myself push, and I made myself push. And see, I like acronyms. I like acronyms. There's an acronym for PUSH, P-U-S-H. Proceed until something happens. Proceed until something happens. And in order to do that, you gotta have focus. And focus, F-O-C-U-S. Follow one course until successful. You got to have it here, and you got to have it here. Proceed until something happens. Follow one course until successful. And you'll make it. You'll definitely make it. So I came through Marine Corps boot camp, what I call 3 of the toughest months of my life. I was in November, December, January, and I graduated in February. Graduated in February. And when I took my last run in February, I finished my run, not a mile and a half, but 3 miles in 21 minutes and 7 seconds. 21 minutes and 7 seconds from a guy who couldn't even finish a half a mile. And I'll tell you how I did it. It was pretty easy. As I went on that run, and this is what you have to do in life, as I went on that run that day, I looked down and I saw somebody far ahead of me. And I made up in my mind that I'm gonna catch that person. And when I caught that person, I found the next person. I said, I'm gonna catch that person. See, in life, you gotta look ahead to see the people who are doing exactly what you want to do. And you got to catch that person. And then once you catch that person, you have to set another goal to catch somebody else. And then set another goal to catch somebody else. See, I'm going to tell everyone that comes into my path that Marine Corps was the best thing that ever happened to me. It helped me along my journey with three things: honor, courage, and commitment. Honor, courage, and commitment. That was hard for me to see from where I was, homeless, robbing, selling drugs. But see, when I got to Parris Island, South Carolina, I did as Romans 12:2 said in my favorite book. It says, "Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind." See, I'm still the same person physically. This is still the same body physically. But the way you change your life, you have to change your mind. You have to change your thoughts. You know, a couple of my favorite quotes, one says, "Change the way you look at things, and what you look at will change." But there's another that says, "Change the way you think about things, and your whole world will change." See, that's what happened to me. My whole world changed. The things I used to do, that wasn't me anymore. I changed my mind. I changed the way I thought about things. I changed the way I looked at things. And my world began to change. Everything around me began to change. See, I got new friends. I started reading books. I started hanging around positive people. I started hanging around the people that were doing what I wanted to do. Being a motivational speaker. Being a motivational speaker. And that's all it takes. Change your mind. Change your mind. Change the way you look at things. Change the way you think about things. You know, there's a story I love about a guy who was from a city not too far from here. Louisville, Kentucky. But if you're from this area, or you've been spending time in this area, you know it's Louisville. From Louisville, Kentucky. Small town at the time. See, his dad gave him a bike for Christmas. Little guy, 12 years old. His dad gave him a bike for Christmas. A shiny red bike with flashy little rims and wheels on it. And that guy loved that red bike. He loved that red bike. One day he was riding that red bike and it started to rain. So he pulled his bike over to a building. And in this building, they had popcorn and candy in the back. And what kid doesn't like popcorn and candy? So as the rain came down, he went and enjoyed some of that popcorn and candy until it was all gone. And when it was all gone, he came out to find that his bike was also gone. His bike had been stolen. He said, "Oh, this made this guy real mad." It made him real mad. All he wanted to do was get revenge on the person who stole his bike. That's all he wanted to do, was get revenge on the person who stole his bike. He said he was going to fight anybody who had a red bike because they might know something about who stole his red bike. All he wanted to do was get revenge. All he wanted to do was get revenge. So he went downstairs and he saw a police officer, and he reported to the police officer that someone had stole his red bike. And when he finds the person that stole his red bike, he's gonna whip him. That was the plan. He's gonna whip whoever stole his red bike. Well, luckily, that police officer happened to own a gym. And he said, In order for you to whip the guy who stole your bike, you're gonna have to learn how to fight. So he brought him into his gym and he began to train him. He trained real hard for 3 months and found out that boxing was his passion. Boxing was his purpose in life. He said he wanted to be the greatest. He made up in his mind that he wanted to be the greatest. So that's what he set off to do. He set off to be the greatest. In 1964, he fought against somebody that it was almost thought to be impossible to win. A big bear named Sonny Liston. Nobody thought he would win. Nobody thought he could be the greatest. Nobody thought he was the greatest, except for him. In fact, he would tell everybody all the time, I am the greatest. He once said, I am the greatest. And I said that even before I knew I was. Now he said that even before he knew he was the greatest. He said he was the greatest even before he knew he was. And that's what I'm talking about. You have to think it. A belief is no more than something you think over and over and over and over again. In fact, this guy, Sonny Liston, that he was going to fight, all the reporters said, if he fights Sonny Liston's going to kill him in the ring. Sonny Liston's going to kill him in the ring. He said, okay. So he went out, he trained. He trained harder than he ever trained before. He knew he was the greatest. He knew he was going to fulfill what he said he was going to do, be the greatest. This guy, Cassius Clay. Now, after all the reporters went on to say that he wouldn't win the fight, that he would get killed in the ring, that day he decided, when he won the fight and became the heavyweight champion of the world, he decided that Cassius Clay died in that ring. And he became Muhammad Ali, arguably one of the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. The G-O-A-T. The G-O-A-T. If you don't remember anything else today, I want you to remember these 4 letters. And I want you to remember what they stand for. See, I came up with a formula for greatness. Studying Muhammad Ali, studying successful people, studying the great people, studying the things that make the great great, I came up with these 4 things. These 4 things, all you have to remember on your journey to greatness. The first is G. You have to set a goal. You have to set goal after goal after goal. Life is all about setting goals. You set one goal, you achieve that goal. You set another goal, you achieve that goal. And in the process of setting and achieving goals, you get confidence. You become confident in the things that you do in this lifetime. You know, after Muhammad Ali started setting goal after goal and accomplishing them, he had no doubt in his mind that he was the greatest of all time. And that's what you have to do. You have to stop, never stop, never stop, never stop, never stop, never stop setting goals. You have to completely set your life around setting goals and accomplishing goals. The next is the outcome. O. The outcome is your vision. The outcome is how you see yourself. To get anywhere in life, from here to there, you have to see yourself doing it. Anybody ever put together a puzzle? How many people would ever be able to put together a puzzle if you didn't see that picture on the box? If you didn't see the picture on the box, you can still put the puzzle together. How much more time would it take you if you didn't see the picture on the box? If you didn't see the picture on the box, it's going to take you a lot longer. So you have to begin to see that picture. See yourself how you want to be. It doesn't matter how anybody else sees you, but you have to be able to see that picture in order for you to put it together. You have to make yourself look just like that picture. And see, I'm going to tell you a little secret that most adults won't tell you. The older you get, you start to lose your imagination. You can't lose your imagination because you have to be able to imagine it first. You have to be able to see that picture first in order to accomplish it. You have to be able to see the picture. There's a young lady by the name of Florence Chadwick. She was a swimmer. She set out to swim one day on January 4th, 1962. A little stretch of 26 miles between California and Catalina Island. 26-mile swim. Well, this day when she set out to swim, it was a real foggy day, but she decided to do it anyway. She decided to do it anyway. And she had a couple of boats with her. One of the boats had her mom and her trainer on the boat. And she set off to swim this 26-mile swim. And she got 15 hours into the swim. 15 hours. And she couldn't take it anymore. She started to get weak. She started to get tired. So she told her mom and the trainer to take her out of the water. But they talked to her a little more. They told her that she can do it. Just stick with it a little longer. And she did. And then a couple minutes later, she realized that she was exhausted and had them take them out of the water. Now when she got on the boat, she started to look and see as the fog began to lift. And she saw where she was trying to get to. Less than a mile away. And she told a reporter the next day, she said, if I could have just seen, if I could have just seen my destination, I could have made it. I could have made it. You see, that's what you got to do. You have to be able to see yourself. You have to be able to see that picture. You have to be able to commit to that picture, the outcome. The next thing is A, accountability. You have to have accountability for your actions